what is the rationale behind people that are poor now being the ones bully other people?
Even the rich should not even bully the poor.
They like to feel superior. It's a superiority complex.
You're poor, I'm poor, and you're making me feel bad for you. So violence is not even something that should be done because somebody is doing it, because it always have adverse effect. There's nothing like sweet about violence.
If I can't be happy, why should others be happy? They should experience the same level of pain I experience.
It can be done by a teacher. It can also be done to a teacher.
It shows that there's something wrong going on up there.
I remember then in school when this teacher flogged this boy because he didn't do his assignment, and it was in a very gruesome manner, because I was like, because of math, like you're meant to know why he didn't do his assignments. At the end of the day, his siblings went to the teacher's house and beat up the teachers.
Physical appearance has to be like one of the most common reasons for bullying, and it just makes me wonder, why is it because I am black that you're bullying me?
Welcome to the Timeline Show.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of our Timeline podcast. Our topic for today is on school-based violence. I am Jennifer Egenti and I have Precious and Jennifer with me to discuss this topic. Hi girls, how are you doing?
Hi Jennifer.
Hello.
Hi. I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing very well.
Beautiful.
Alright, let's get into it. School-based violence refers to any form of violence that occurs in a school property, to or from the school property, and then during school-sponsored events. Now, the violence is not, the school is the location, and it's not the type of violence. And it's something that has been, reoccurring in different countries. A school is meant to be a place where you go to get knowledge. You're supposed to feel safe in school. But over time, we've been having different forms of violence occur in school.
Yeah, the CDC also describes school-based violence as any type of violence at all that disrupts learning and can have a negative impact on the students and also, the community at large, as long as it happens inside the school or within the environment of the school. And then they have also categorized it into different forms. We have the physical violence, sexual violence, verbal violence, cyber violence, and all different types of violence. And I'm sure that a lot of students have fallen victim to school-based violence.
Yeah, we've, seen on the internet a lot of shootings. As at March, there was 16 shootings in the US alone. We see like people go to school and see a lot of people that were bullied. They feel like, okay, this is how they want to exert their own form of frustration. And then we see it in corporal punishment. I remember then in school when this teacher flogged this boy because he didn't do his assignments. And it was in a very gruesome manner, because I was like, because of math, like you're meant to know why he didn't do his assignments. Even if he has shown cases of trans or anything, he does not.
Exactly. I feel like that's the point that we need to highlight. School-based violence is not just what happens, maybe insecurity. It goes down to how the teacher treats the students, how peers treat, children treat each other, especially in the classroom and around the school, basically.
And it even affects the teachers too.
Of
because
course.
It's anything that happens within a school property. So it can affect the teachers. It can be done by a teacher. It can also be done to a teacher, as well as the students in school, and then even other people that are in the school. And then even the CDC also mentioned that as of 2018 or 2014, 481,400 people, students, had issues, non-fatal injuries from violence. We see it in bullying too. A lot of people get bullied. We see it in the fact that people are like being shot. I mentioned shooting.
Violence.
But then in Nigeria, we can't even say shooting is not that common because we have gun control. But we see it in cultism.
Exactly.
And I was so surprised to learn that the cultism is not just in university. Like
even in high school.
In high school, people are being recruited to join like cults, and even when they show no interest in it, they are being beaten.
Coerced into it. Yeah.
And then gender-based violence too. That's also another form of school-based violence that occurs. So now let's look at this, like the reason why this happened, the causes of school-based violence. I'd like to know, because a lot of people go to school and then they want to learn.
Yeah.
And some people go to school with the intent of causing
terrorize
harm.
people. Yeah.
Why? Like, why is this like, why do we have such differences
Cases.
in terms of people going to school, their mission of going to school?
Okay, Jennifer, I don't know where to start. There are all sorts of reasons that could bring about violence or students engaging in violent behaviors. One of them could be trauma from home.
Okay.
Experiences from home, and they're looking for ways or places to vent their anger or their issues, to express themselves. And the best way they know to express themselves is violence. So they get violent with their classmates, with their teachers, and the rest of them, and people around them. So these are all the things that, trauma from home. We can also have self-esteem issues.
This trauma from home, because I know a lot of people that, you know, they have issues at home. They didn't come from like a standard home.
Yeah.
But they go to school and they keep to themselves. You know, they want to study. What's like, is there a chemical reaction that goes on in the head of those that bully people because they don't come from a well standardized home?
Well, we react to situations differently. Everybody has a way of reacting to different situations. Normally when we have issues at home, you would want to maybe find solution to it by yourself, or maybe want to keep to yourself actually. But some other people, they go like they have adverse reactions towards these kinds of traumatic experiences from home, so they decide to inflict pain on others in order to feel better about themselves.
Yeah, you know that most people like react to things like differently in different ways. So like there are some people that in their heads they just want to stay on their own, but there are other people that want to, you know, enforce pain on other people. So one of the causes of school-based violence is poverty. I can understand when, you know, somebody from a poor home, especially when you are in a rich school, is being bullied. But then what is the rationale behind people that are poor now being the ones bully other people?
Even the rich should not even bully the poor.
Do you like it's not even supposed to be excused.
They should be looking for how to, you know, make all of them in the same level.
The same
not
level,
trying to
exactly.
make you feel bad for a situation that was created that is not even your fault.
Yeah.
So she asked, like, what's the rationale behind the poor bullying the poor?
Esteem issues, that would be the summary.
You're poor, I'm poor, and you're
You
making
want
me
to-
feel bad for
exactly.
you.
So when people, one of the things that you notice with people that have esteem issues is that they like to derive esteem from others, or they like to feel superior. It's a superiority complex. They like, okay, since I can't have it, let me take it from others. Or if I can't be happy, why should others be happy? They should experience the same level of pain I experience, and that's what they are thinking. So if I don't have it, why should they have it? So I take it from them, or let's both not have it at all. Let's all be there. So that's the rationale behind it.
Okay.
I think even people that feel like other people do more than them, like for instance in school, I was reading an article and then this guy was able to, you know, go through therapy, and when they asked him why do you feel like you were doing all of these things, and he's like, I'm not doing well in school and other people were doing well in school as well. And I'm like, how? Like, you're supposed to even try to make sure that you're doing better, you know, strive to do better in school, which also brings me to academic pressure. And this academic pressure now can come from the parents. It can also come from teachers when they're always saying, why are you not doing good? Comparing them with other people can also be one of the factors that would, you know, relate to school-based violence as well.
Okay, let's look at media. You know, the way media glamorizes violence as a way of, you know, defending yourself.
Yeah.
Because I see movies here and I'm like, you're going through a lot, like you're in school, you don't have money, or even if you do, you just can't speak up for yourself. And then you just see like these violent people that everybody stands up to. I feel like, okay, for me to actually have like a mind of mine, for me to actually be able to defend myself, I have to be them. You know, like that's how like the media portrays that in terms of in terms of school-based violence. But then speaking of pressure, peer pressure too, because I've seen instances where people, they do these things because their friends are doing
it. Yes.
Violence is not even something that should be done because somebody is doing it, because it always have adverse effect. There's nothing like sweet about violence. There's nothing, you know, educative about violence. Even to teachers, you know, I mentioned that boy that was, you know, beaten by his teacher for not doing his assignments. At the end of the day, his siblings went to the teacher's house and beat up the teachers. So regardless, like, it's always like a domino effect. You do this, it's always had like an effect on everybody.
Exactly. And then also the UNICEF points out that in most, you know, countries abroad, physical appearance has to be like one of the most common reasons for bullying. And it just makes me wonder, why is it because I am black that you're bullying me, or because I am tall or not as tall as you? It makes me wonder, like, what goes on through the heads of these people? Like, what exactly is happening with them? Is it a mental problem, or is it something that has, you know, a lot to do with how they think,
physical
or something?
environment?
Exactly.
It's like we've said earlier, it's just, you know, the mind is one of the most complex things that exists, the way you perceive things is not the same way I perceive them. And
Yeah.
we can have 100 persons in this room, and it will be very hard to find people that perceive things the same way. You can just see people who see the color red and just think so many things about it. So that's the same way with the issue of racism and the rest of them.
Yes.
These are all indoctrinated mindsets. Yes, but how people then react to racism, it's a whole different issue. And we see this more in the Western countries and the rest of them. So it's a mind thing. I've been taught that these people are not meant to they are not nice people, or I have a mindset about something, then I attack it. Whenever I see something that looks like it, I attack
Just
it.
want to, yeah.
So, and also when people look better, they dress better than I do.
Yeah.
So, why would they dress better than I do? I take what they have so that I can look better too. Or
Better than them.
let's nobody
Even have it at
let's
all.
all be at an equilibrium. But it's a mindset, like I said. It shows that there's something wrong going on up there, because I should be striving. We see people that are better. When we see people that are better, your first response should be, how should I
Get
be
there.
better?
Yeah.
Yes.
I should even be finding out, how did this person get here, and find better ways to improve.
Yeah.
But that's why it's a mental issue. You're always thinking, I have to take what belongs to others. The best response is violence instead of actually improving yourself.
Exactly. I totally agree with you. Research has shown that, school-based violence is anything that affects anything, around the school and even the communities. But then I also read an article that was saying that most times the family and the communities can contribute to violence that happens in the school. So what is the relationship now between, the parents and the community in,
terms of
relating to
school
school-based violence?
I think I was speaking to someone a couple of days, and I said something. Parenting, it's one of the major reasons why violence is increasing in the society, and more so in the school. So person was like, no, it doesn't think so. But I believe so strongly, because Bible says, train up your child in the way he should go. When he grows up, he will not depart from it. So if I train my child well, there is going to be like challenges along the way training the child, but there should be a level of morality the child should have, because I have taught the child to an extent. So parenting, I was watching a documentary for that child that opened a gunfire in school.
Yes.
They were just prosecuted recently. The child was sentenced to life imprisonment. The mother was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. The father was sentenced to 15 years
Yes, saw that
imprisonment.
story.
So as I saw it, I was like, yes, I was so happy that the parents were not left out of the equation, because they kept the gun in their house.
Okay.
So those parents, the society, they all contribute to it. What are we teaching? What do we allow? We should be able to curb all these things that actually happen. I should be able to take note that something is changing about my child. I read one of the write-up, something the man said. He said that he should have been careful enough to take note of the changes that were happening with the child. But he was not able to do so. That's why things deteriorated to that extent.
Yeah.
So that's the same way the society plays a very large role, and parents also play a large role, because they should know things are changing about this person. As a society, what are the measures we are putting up about so and so thing? If this happens, what are the actions we are taking about it? When there are no strict laws concerning violence in school or even in the society, or maybe there are laws and nobody is there to implement it, at the end of the day, people will keep living life. There will be anarchy. People will just behave anyhow you want. Nobody will say anything about it.
Yeah, but that recently people, in fact, as a matter of fact, since the beginning of time, people have always said no matter how much you train a child, the child has an independent mind of his own. So what is the ratio to which you can apportion blame to the child and to the parents?
It depends on how old the child you're talking about is. If the child has gotten to 18 years, we believe that's the age of adulthood. Now, every child has a mind of his own, actually. Yeah. But this mind is being cultivated. Something leads them to where they are. It's what I'm being introduced to daily. It's what I'm seeing daily. that builds my experience and then eventually informs the kind of person I become in future.
Yes.
So if at 18 the person is already has the right to do whatever he wants to do, so if the person now wants to change at that level and begins to do whatever, that's a whole different thing. But if you're talking about a child of like 10 years old, I have authority over you as a
Yeah.
parent. I have rights to tell you this is what it is. So, but if the child is not, there are measures you should put in place if the child is not following the right things to do. That's why parenting is not a day's job, it's a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
So you keep watching and watching until the child becomes the person he's supposed to be. So as much as we believe that, yeah, he's an independent person with his mind, but we should also guide that mind.
Yeah.
We should put up structures that help you know that this is right and this is
wrong.
wrong.
Yeah.
If we just say you're your own person or you're going to decide for yourself, how old are you? What mind do you have? And naturally, we have the inclination to like bad things.
Yeah.
It takes some measures and structure for us to actually know that this is right and go by those right things.
Yeah. School-based violence is not just limited to the children. Also, the teachers also have a fair share in terms of impact or in terms of exerting violence on people.
Yeah.
So we'll go on a short break now. When we come back, we'll discuss more about school-based violence. Stay with us.
The first season of Timeline is on. The journey so far has been amazing and impactful. The world needs change agents. The world needs me, you, and all of us. Join me on Timeline as we continue to share important information and discuss social issues that would help someone out there. Let's continue to advocate for critical changes on issues affecting our world today. And together, amplifying messages that provide answers to burning questions. Our journey continues as we create awareness and promote shifts in health matters and other social issues that will alleviate personal and communal struggles, guided by international laws and best practices. Join me on Timeline exactly 7 p.m. every Friday on Youth Network's YouTube channel. Subscribe, like, and turn on the notification button. You can become an agent of positive change by dropping your comments in any of our episodes as a contributor or as a professional. Join the conversation respectfully.
Welcome back. We're still discussing school-based violence. So we just, finished discussing how children, like what goes on behind the scene in terms of children doing like school-based violence. How about teachers? They're already adults. Like I'm talking about, there are some mean teachers out there that their mission in life is not just, they don't want to educate, they just want to tame. Like they feel like these children are animal. Like what is the reason for their own attitude?
Even as we've mentioned about the children, experiences can also lead to teachers actually behaving like this. My marriage is not going well.
Yeah.
I know. I'm looking for someone.
See a therapist.
Exactly.
So I'm looking for a way to vent. Imagine some people, naturally, I don't have kids. Your natural normal reaction would be, let me like kids so that I can get kids.
Yeah.
But some people have adverse reactions. That's why I said the mind is complex. Some will be like, if I don't have, why do these people have? So
why do children exist?
Exactly. So they want to inflict harm on those children. Experiences from home, maybe family issues and financial issues. Let's not forget the fact that in the country where we live, the economy is not exactly at the best state. So they're not paying me well. How do I actually cope with this thing? So what some people would think is, since they're not paying me well, let me inflict harm on the children. So let me not do my job well. So the best way is just met out the whole violence thing on the child. So these are all experiences, situations that can lead to, which are all signs of mental issues.
But then it doesn't even make it better.
It
In any
doesn't.
way.
It doesn't. That's the
Like
point.
it's not solving any
It
problem.
doesn't, because it does not help you. You are inflicting violence on the child to actually vent. The venting can only last for maybe a few seconds.
Yeah.
But
you go
And
back
it can have
but-
repercussions on you.
Exactly.
Because when you are
So
done.
eventually you might be sacked, or imagine a parent decides to take up the matter and then
Yes.
sue you or something like that, it still has an effect on you. So it doesn't actually pay. It doesn't have any positive.
All right, let's look at the effects now. We'll start with the physical effects of this because,
Yeah.
corporal punishments, flogging a child mercilessly, or even a teacher or any of all of that has like a physical effect on the health of these children. We've seen cases where they bully children or they bully the teachers and they are starving them in school. Your parents will give you food to school and
Yes,
somebody will
that.
take it away from you. Automatically, like it's already destabilizing.
Even neglect from teachers as well. They'll
Yes.
see that maybe a child is bullying another child, then they'll just be like, please leave me alone. I'm not in the mood for this. Why are you in school to
Exactly.
teach these children?
Exactly.
Even gunshots, for people that have
Death. We see death. We see trauma from all
Exactly.
of that. Because I think I saw this documentary of the shootings, and a lot of parents, like one girl was even like she had to jump on, she had to like take blood from her already dead classmates, so that the killer would think that,
that she's dead.
also dead. And you see like these physical like issues that goes on in school. The teachers get beaten, gunshot, cultism, there's vandalization of
Yes.
school
School
infrastructures and
properties, yeah.
everything. People can get injured in the process. But now looking at the mental health part of it, how can long-term violence in school impacts their psychology?
There are many effects we are talking about here, and the thing is just that it's not just for a period of time. If it's not curbed early, it can go on to affect how you live life forever. So we're talking about depression. There are people that end up depressed, kids that end up depressed, teachers, whoever the violence is being meted out to.
Yeah.
Like they might end up depressed. They might end up with self-esteem issues, not thinking themselves worthy, thinking there is something wrong with them, or thinking they should always be kept at a lower place. They just end up believing that they should be subjugated at all times. I should always be low. I shouldn't expect big things. So we have also social anxiety. There are people that can't just relate with others.
Yeah.
So whenever
isolation.
they come out, they are like, keep to yourself. I don't know what's going to happen. So because of those experiences, they already have a preconceived reaction to every social event, every social situation. They don't want to mingle with others. They just have that closure. They have these walls they build up so that they can't actually react. And eventually, that's why I said if it is not curbed, it can affect your entire life. It can affect how you relate with your partner, in your relationship, your children, at work. So it's a life thing. So we're also talking about psychosomatic disorder, where people actually, there are kids that's when they wake up in the morning, they don't want to go to school. They're telling you that their body is hurting. Their body is hurting, but it's a psychological thing. It's not really that there is something physically wrong with them. So is the pain real? Yes, in their head.
Yeah. So
But
that is
somatic disorder. So the pain is real in their head. So they might say their tummy is paining them. They take them to the hospital. The doctor does some checks. Say there is no pain in your tummy. So it looks like they are pretending, but they are not pretending. The pain is there, but it's a mental thing. But physically, there is nothing wrong with them. So these are the things that happen. So child is just tries to withdraw from school, and their mind is telling them you are sick. So just tell your parents you are sick. So they keep saying they are sick, but parents like some parents, there's nothing wrong with you. Why you pretend you just don't want to go to school? But they don't know that something is already happening to their psyche. So they are not really like, they don't want to just be in that environment. They don't know that the pain they are feeling is not real. They just believe that this thing is just real, and maybe they have been beaten in school or hurt in school.
Yeah.
The injuries have healed, but they are still feeling the pain mentally. So, and they're like, it's still hurting, but you're like, this is that. So these are all the effects that could possibly come out from being bullied, especially long term.
They even commit suicide.
Exactly. That's even the worst part of it, because I watched a documentary once where some students, about 3 of them, they left a suicide note. The same school. They died. They committed suicide and left notes that they were being bullied in school and all those things. And there was no evidence except the note. So there was
Notes.
we don't know whether we should prosecute the students involved in the
Nobody would want to own up to that.
Exactly.
Now.
Of course, I like the fact that you highlighted the fact that it is a long time effect. It's not something that you just face and then you're out of it. But then, for the parents that claim that, oh, I can't exactly tell what happens in my child's school and all of that, how do you think that a parent now can identify that, oh, my child is a bully, first off, and how can they also identify that my child is being bullied?
Okay, so we've come to a point where a lot of we are very busy people now.
Very.
Like very, very busy people. So that's why I said earlier that parenting is not a day's job.
Yeah.
It's a full-time work. So you notice that your child, people stay away from your child. Why? Ask questions.
The child does not have friends.
He doesn't have
Why?
friends.
Or
Now,
he's like a leader of a gang.
he doesn't have friends. Could be he's a bully or he's being bullied. Find out what is the issue. Why is he staying away from people, or why are people staying away from this child? In your community, whenever somebody sees this child, person just cringes,
Shaking,
like
yeah.
shakes, and why?
No
And
play
you're
dates,
feeling
not
like,
it.
your child is the boss. No, he's not a boss. Something's wrong somewhere. Maybe like, my child maybe is smart or something. Like he's just the top dog.
Yeah.
Why are these kids running away from your child? Find out. Is he being bullied or is he the bully? Find out what the issue is.
Yeah.
And have conversations with your child about school. Find out what's happening. That drive from home, or drive from home to school, or drive from school to home, it's very important. Ask questions. You might not exactly, children go to school 5 days a week.
Yeah.
So you might not have the whole time to actually, but little times. Always listen. Find out what the issue is. The child says he doesn't want to go to school. Why? Find out. Ask questions. What are the changes? A child that has been very social, why is he withdrawing all of a sudden? These are all the pointers that something is actually wrong.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that you're attacking these points head on, because I remember that student or that pupil in Nigeria that died as a result of bullying. The mother came out and said, this child was always telling me, I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go to school. But then the mother just assumed that this child is not serious with school and all of that. So I really like the fact that you're highlighting the fact that parents should pay attention to their children.
Let's look at, these children. I mean, those that are bullying, in as much as I can't even excuse their attitude, but they probably have like some mental health issues that is prompting them to, maybe they're
Of
just
course.
channeling it the wrong way.
Yes.
So how then do we ameliorate this in terms of the child that is bullying and even those that have been bullied, to the mental health problems they have?
Okay, this is why I believe that every school should actually have a therapist or a
Guidance and
psychologist,
counselor.
beautiful guidance and counseling, or guidance and counselors.
Yeah.
So this is why we need them in various schools. You notice that this child is always bullying people. He has anger issues.
Yeah.
What should you do as a school psychologist or a guardian and counselor? Call this child, find out what the issue is. Are there things that the person is experiencing from home? Call the parents to order. Let the parents be invited to the school. Let the matter be discussed. Find out what the issue is. We can also have those that are being bullied also meet their school therapist and the
talk
rest
about
of them.
it,
Talk
yeah.
about what the issue is. In fact, there should be a point where the bully and the one being bullied should have a point where they talk
Together.
together. Let's find out what's your problem.
Like, what do
Like,
you see in this person that
Exactly.
makes you feel like you are
why
bullying
is this
this
person so special? What attracts bullying to this person? What exactly? Sometimes this can be the best way to actually end bullying. Talking. There's nothing as beautiful as talking. Conversations kill a lot of things.
Communications, yeah.
Communication. So find time to talk. Also, parents should be also brought to the point where, are they bullying themselves at home too, because they are learning.
True,
Yeah.
that's true.
Children could be learning from them. Maybe mother is bullying father is
Father is
bullying
bullying-
mother.
Yeah.
like insults and everything.
Exactly. So what exactly the parents should also come to a point where they'll be able to talk. So if there are issues, parents should also seek guidance from now, not a school counselor, maybe a counselor, a
Therapy.
therapist. Like, find a point where you can heal so that you can move on. Whether teachers, in fact, every school, every organization should have a safe space where people can talk about what they feel without actually
Without judgment.
exactly. That's what makes, maybe if my boss is bullying me, or my co-worker
Co-worker.
or something like that, there should be a safe space where we can talk about it. Also, if you feel like, okay, they will see me when I walk into that safe space, there should be a platform for being anonymous.
Yeah,
I agree.
that
I
could
can send a message, or I can send a letter, I can send something and
Or
be
even
like,
anonymous calls.
yeah, exactly. And be like, okay, this is actually going on. This is going on. And I would like to report it anonymous.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I like the fact that I started talking about the solutions now. So research has shown that supporting student leadership can also be a way of reducing the number of, school-based violence. So like, how effective? Because in the universities, for instance, we have SUG presidents, we have this and that, but then cultism and violence still thrive. So how important do you think, student leadership is in making sure that students have a voice, and then
They
bullying
feel
and
like they
violence
have a
is
say
reduced? Exactly.
in terms of things that's happening in school.
Absolutely.
it's beautiful for students to be part of the leadership, because sometimes what leads to cultism or violence in school and all that is actually the fact that some students believe that they are not being heard.
Yes.
So student leadership is very important, because these people will actually stand up for the students themselves. And putting the right people in leadership also
Yes.
is
Not
another
the
point.
bullies.
Exactly. Don't put the bullies in leadership. So putting the right people in leadership to speak the minds of the students. What do we want? What are we looking at? What kind of environment do we need?
What problems are we even facing?
So by the time these students are able to talk to the lecturers, the leaders in school, then things got so student leadership is actually very important.
As well as investing in, violence prevention programs in school.
Yeah.
Because I don't see why somebody walking with a gun from the gates down to the classroom and
And
there
nobody
was
will
not
see.
seen
Yeah.
done. Like, invest in CCTVs, also like personnel that security in the
Yeah.
school. Even in Nigeria here, we've seen situations where they kidnapped students like in broad daylight and took them out. Plenty, like a lot of children were kidnapped and nothing was done during that time. So, investing in all of that, like security for these children, as well as education too,
Yeah.
both at home and even, in school, trying to tell them like, there's no gain in it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And most of all of this, not even just like beating them up, even verbally. I remember when I was told like I should not make any hair that does not cover my forehead. This was from like my peer, like,
yeah.
and I still remember it till now, and it's like years ago. So all of that,
Exactly.
they play. You just have to invest in education. Parents should also be aware of what's happening in their children's life, like you mentioned.
Yeah, I also think that collaboration is something that can really help. Collaboration between the community, the teachers, the parents. There should be a forum where everybody can talk freely. Like the communities can say, I'm noticing that some students are sneaking out of school and all of that. So if there can be like collaboration between these bodies, I feel like we probably will not be talking about this again.
With the whole thing that happened with the student that did the shootouts, I thought of something, that we should have bodies that are not just in the various schools that are working. We should have bodies that are dependent of the schools.
Yes, on their own.
Because some schools will hide their violence so that students will not think they shouldn't come to
Yes,
that
I've seen
school.
situations where people
course.
spoke out,
So-
and the next thing the school is denying
Them.
everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we should have bodies that are independent. We don't belong to this school. We don't belong to
We're
any
on our
school. We're
own.
on our own. And
Yeah.
when
We
we
investigate
detect
first,
it, we investigate it
Immediately.
immediately and deal with it.
Yeah.
So I think these are beautiful measures that can just be put in place, actually.
Yeah, school-based violence is something that we should not ever speak of. A school is a learning institution that a child should go and feel safe, a teacher should go and feel safe, as well as other independent or other staff in the school. It is not fair, that people will go to school and be scared for their life. They don't know when somebody will come in hot and trying to like kill all of them. They don't know when a situation whereby somebody can just take what's theirs. So it is important that we create a safe space for them, even to air their opinion, as well as to have a conducive environment for learning. And this is where we draw the curtains to our conversation. I really enjoyed the
I
conversation.
did too.
And I really hope that you guys to enjoy it as well and implement all you've learned, as well as other things you'd actually pick outside on how best it is to create a safe environment for these children. Don't forget to keep the conversation respectful in the comment section. Follow us on our social media platform at Hued Network. I am Jennifer.
I'm Precious.
And I'm Jennifer.
I'll be seeing you soon.
Bye.